So the final movement here for the abs is going to be the crunch. And a lot of people may be surprised that we're using assistance on this because most people think they can probably do sit-ups pretty easy. But the way that we're going to do this exercise is going to be similarly deceiving in terms of how challenging it is, just like the reverse crunch is, where we're raising our legs up and down with assistance. So again, because we can't anchor the feet on this, that's going to be one thing that's going to make it more challenging. It's going to mean that we're going to have to rely a lot more on the actual strength of our abdominals, and we're not going to be able to create co-contractions through the lower body in order to create kind of more distal stability in order to drive the movement. So with this, there are going to be a few different things. We're not just going to be doing a sit-up. It's going to look like a sit-up, but just like the back extension, we're not just going to be grabbing assistance and arbitrarily moving our spine like it's one block, okay? We're going to focus on crunching first. So we're going to lay back and we're going to do what's going to look like a traditional crunch, okay? So you're going to crunch as much as you can. And so before you even begin to sit up, right, a lot of people would crunch and then just go ahead and sit up. What we want to do is we kind of want to take the length out of the tissue here that's almost kind of giving us a mechanical advantage, right? Being able to contract a muscle that's lengthened can actually sometimes be kind of a benefit if we're in a disadvantageous position, being able to kind of stretch a muscle first before we contract it. And so we want to take away some of that advantage by crunching as much as we can first. So we're really maxing out our spinal flexion here, and we're crunching as much as we can. And then once we run out of that spinal range of motion with the crunch, then we're going to sit up. And we're going to try to crunch into it even more. Okay, so again, we're going to be laying here. We're going to start with the neck. We want to think about crunching as much as we can, and then sitting up, and then kind of pulling ourselves through with the hip flexors at the top, okay? So this is a very deceptive movement. Most people will not be able to do this without assistance, right? If we're kind of just looking at what happens here, when we crunch, and we don't have anything to anchor the feet under, it's really difficult to be able to get up from this position, right? A lot of people are going to rock, they're going to move with their feet a lot, and then if we simply add in an anchor, right, we come here, we put our feet under the door, we crunch, and then we sit up, it's significantly easier, okay? And that's because a lot of that stress is being offloaded off of the target tissue. We want to localize it all onto just the abs, right? We don't want any sort of a counterbalance. We don't want anything under the feet. We're just trying to focus on, can we crunch and then sit up without the help of any other tissues or having to create co-contractions through any other tissues. Now, you will have to probably press your legs down into the ground a little bit, just as you have to press the arms into the ground for the low abs, and that's just to kind of counterbalance the body a little bit. But again, this is probably, despite the idea surrounding how easy chin-ups are supposed to usually, or sit-ups, are supposed to be for the average person, this is not the traditional sit-up that you're used to doing at the gym. We're really focusing on, again, trying to flex and crunch as much as we can. So we're shortening the abs here, and we're really trying to get a lot of length through the upper or mid back as well. So again, when we're doing all of these exercises, we're getting really good stretches for specific tissues on the opposite side of the body. Whenever the abs are working, the lumbar extensors are getting a really good stretch, and conversely, whenever the spinal extensors are working and we're going into extension, we're getting a really good stretch through the abs as well. And so if we look at what this program is designed to achieve, which is range of motion and mobility and strength in kind of extreme ranges of motion that the rib cage and the torso can get into, that's really what we're going to be looking at, is lengthening and then strengthening the opposite side with these antagonist-agonist pairings.